Hello and welcome to this special edition of Talk Time. My guest today is one of the veteran political leaders from the Northeast, Mr. TR Zeliang, former Chief Minister of Nagaland and leader of the Naga People's Front, Nagaland's main opposition party. Mr. TR Zeliang, welcome to Talk Time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Zeliang, as the state's top opposition leader now, what is your take on governance in Nagaland? What are the key challenges that you think needs to be addressed and addressed seriously in Nagaland?
Thank you for giving this privilege to interact with you. You see, we have so many challenges confronting the state government for smooth functioning and then for the benefit of the people to take it forward. And few examples I can mention that we are lacking in transparency and accountability. And to check the corruption, it is still the dream of the people and it has not come to a reality. I really appreciate the church people coming forward with the theme, with the slogan that clean election. And that will be the root cause that if the people cooperate with the government and all political parties,
right,
then the challenges can be overcome by the state by and large.
Right. This is a very important point that you have made. You have made two very important points. One is transparency and accountability. Now, is it incumbent upon the government alone, or do you think
Yes.
the civil society also needs to do their job?
Yes. See, to bring changes in the state or the country, it has to start from the top, not from the bottom. So the government of the day should be very clear in their mind that transparency and accountability is to be maintained. Then the people will understand and cooperate. So it has to start from the top to bottom.
Absolutely. Mr. Zeliang, the talk of the state now is about the Naga peace process. My question to you, do you think that the government as well as the negotiators, the Naga groups, must give an update to the stakeholders just on the eve of signing the accord? Because once the accord is signed, nothing can be done about it.
Yes, you are true, you are correct. You see, it is the commitment of the Naga negotiating group and the interlocutor of Naga political issue, Sri R.N. Ravi. They both have committed to the people. Before inking the final agreement, they will come back to the people and explain the roadmap of their final agreement. So people are anxiously waiting for such kind of interaction from both the parties, to which direction they are going, so that briefing by the people, different section of people, and listening to the voice of the people is a must before they come to a final settlement. Because there are a lot of controversies and a lot of opinions differ from each other. It's going on in the market. But if the interlocutor as well as the Naga political group come forward for a kind of this people interaction, I think that will be the best idea, and they can go back and hammer out the differences, taking the view of the people in the different state where Naga peoples are living.
Yeah, but right now, so far we are seeing that the government is talking only with the Naga political groups, Naga underground groups, but they are not talking
Yes.
to the civil society on the Naga peace issue. So do you want at this very critical juncture that the government of India also should initiate an exercise where they also take the opinion of the prominent Naga civil society groups as well as all the political parties in the state? Are you in favor of that?
Yes, this should take place. Before they come to a conclusion, they should invite all the political parties in the state, and they should invite all the tribal hoho, civil societies, NGOs, and the student organization, and interact with the people. And the point of this framework, the point which are laid down in the framework agreement should be explained properly, and the roadmap that they are going ahead for final settlement should be explained to the people.
Right. Now, Mr. Zeliang, you know, the NSC and IM has recently started this process. They held a consultative meeting where they gave an update to the representatives of some of the leading civil societies. Now, it appears that there is a difference in perception to the word inclusive. For the Naga groups, by the word inclusive, they are looking at it as integration of the Naga areas, whereas for the government of India is looking at the word inclusive as an agreement within the ambit of the Indian Constitution. What is your personal take on this? Where do you stand?
You see, Wasbir, if you want to know the story, by seeing the cover, you cannot understand. The word inclusive alone, if we talk, people can misunderstand. But if the people understand the framework agreement that they have already signed, there the core issues was that sovereignty. And now they have come up with the word that shared sovereignty. And regarding this integration also, they have come out that this integration will be resolved democratically, which is agreed upon by both the parties. So now if we talk about the inclusiveness, the definition of inclusiveness can be explained by anybody in any dimension. But
absolutely.
So to my understanding, inclusive is that all Naga political parties should be a part of this final agreement. 1. 2. And in the final agreement, all the contiguous Naga areas should be included as far as India is concerned. Forget about, for the time being, we cannot include Myanmar because it is outside the country. But here too, I have a suggestion. After we come to a conclusion, the Naga political group should insist the Prime Minister of India to talk to his counterpart, Myanmar government, so that Myanmar government also can have a dialogue with Nagas of Myanmar and come to a final settlement. Then the dream of Naga people is fulfilled.
But Mr. Zeliang, that means
peaceful coexistence.
What you are saying, Mr. Zeliang, that means what you are saying is that you want the integration of Naga areas into a single administrative unit. So you as well as the NPF, is that the demand? Is it what you are saying that all Naga areas must come united? But do you think that is going to be rather difficult because that will involve redrawing of the northeastern states map, redrawing of the interstate boundaries?
We have no two opinion in this, be it opposition or ruling. We are unanimous on the issue of this integration, and for which we have passed 6-time resolution in the State Assembly unanimously. So there is no two opinion in this issue. But having said that, now both the parties, after knowing the ground reality and the difficulty, and they both have agreed to resolve this issue democratically and amicably, and that is the right formula for the time being to have agreed by both the parties. But sooner or later, this integration has to come to fulfill the dream of aspiration of the Naga people.
Sooner or later, integration has to come. That is what top NPF leader, former Chief Minister, Mr. TR Zeliang is saying. We'll go for a short break. Don't go away. I'll be right back in conversation with Mr. TR Zeliang, former Chief Minister of Nagaland. Welcome back. I'm in conversation with Mr. TR Zeliang, top leader of the Naga People's Front and former Chief Minister. Mr. Zeliang, do you think that, for the sake of peace in Nagaland, if necessary, the state government should be ready to even step down?
Yes. This is one commitment given by all political party leaders. In case a solution arrives with logical conclusion, then every leader has committed that will step down from the present position for an alternative arrangement through political agreement. This is a commitment.
Right. Now you see, if we take the case of Mizoram, or for that matter the Bodo areas in Assam, the groups which signed the accord, they transformed themselves into political parties, and then they contested the elections and received the mandate of the people. Now, how do you look at the situation in Nagaland? According to you, how do you look at the road ahead? What could happen?
See, as far as the state of Nagaland is concerned, we have already established political parties in the state. So any kind of democratic arrangement is there, and the existing political party cannot be dissolved. They may like to go ahead. But at this point of time, I don't want to give my comment on this issue, because it will entirely depend on the situation and the nature of that solution comes out of this agreement. So let us keep it for the day to come, and I don't want to comment further.
Right. No, I respect your point. I don't want to force you to comment, but in a democracy, anybody can form a new political party, anybody can join the electoral system and contest the elections, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Any group of people can establish a new political party, and it can be registered, and that's no one can stop.
Absolutely.
So as far as Nagaland is concerned, that we have had already 11 political parties in the state, and the new parties coming out also, that the constitutional provision will allow them. So there is no hindrance for any group of people to organize a political party. But all the Nagas to come together to a political party, that we have no comment at this point of time.
Right. Now, the NSC and IM has written a letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently, where they reiterated the demand for a separate flag and a constitution, and they described the demand for a flag and a constitution as the core issues. Now, my question to you, Mr. Zeliang, is how important or how significant are these two demands, a separate flag and a constitution for the Naga people?
Yes, this is the talk of the day now everywhere, about the flag and constitution of this Naga political group. And the controversies, opinions are coming out in the public domain. But to me, and as far as this NPF party is concerned, we have already taken a decision.
Right.
Keeping in mind that undivided Naga political group headed by Ajit Pijo under the banner of NNC. From that point of time, the use of this flag, and they call it Ijabo, the constitution. Any settlement they take according to the Ijabo, the Naga constitution. And we have come across that every year on 14 August, they hoist this flag, Naga Independence Day, as Naga Independence Day, till today. So the use of this flag is not a new thing for the Naga people. And it is deeply rooted from the time NNC. And today you have seen as many as 9 political groups among the Nagas. But all the factions use the same flag. all the factions use the same flag. You can, it is visible on the 14th of August every year.
Now
So
you see.
we cannot say that the flag, if the issue is not a flag alone. It has started from sheer sovereignty, and it that started from the unique history of the Nagas. So it has to go together. If you talk only about the flag, then people may not understand. But if you talk from the beginning, that how they both the parties have agreed to coexist
Right.
with sheer sovereignty, and how both the parties have agreed that the integration issue will be resolved through democratic norms. So we have to go from the beginning. Then the issue of flag is not a major issue. If they both agreed, share sovereignty and coexist. This is my personal point of view.
So you are saying that government of India, you are saying that the government of India should have no difficulty in agreeing to these two demands, a separate flag and a constitution. That's what you are saying.
There should not be any difficulty if the government of India so desire, because the constitutional provision provide to have a separate flag for any state.
Now, I am asking this question because only recently on the 5th of August, the center withdrew Article 370 from Jammu and Kashmir and 35A from Jammu and Kashmir, and Kashmir lost its separate flag and the separate constitution. So there was some apprehension after this in Nagaland, but the Union Home Minister has very well clarified, he has clarified very rightly that 370 was temporary, whereas 371 is a permanent provision. What is your stand?
But Jammu and Kashmir 370 is totally different from 371A.
Right.
Because that was just a temporary provision given to the Jammu and Kashmir people. Whereas 371A was extracted from 16-point agreement and enshrined in the Constitution of India, that under the provision of 371A. And that was spelled out very clearly by Amit Shah, the president of BJP, and Home Minister, Union Home Minister as well. So we are confident they'll keep their word and take care of this special provision.
All right. We'll go for another short break at this point. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm still in conversation with Mr. TR Zeliang, top leader of the Naga People's Front and former Chief Minister. Mr. Zeliang, everybody wants to know as to why roads and other infrastructure in Nagaland are so poor more than 70 years after India's independence. I am asking you this question because every Nagas today, every Naga, whether it is a young boy or girl or whether it is an elderly man, are absolutely disgusted with the condition of the roads across the state.
So road is the only means to have interconnectivity with the different states in Northeast region. So here we are far lacking behind to have a good road, or what do you say, this permanent, stable, sustainable road. We don't have a sustainable road because of so many factors. Out of so many regions, I would like to underline only few factors.
Yeah.
That is the landscape, the difficult hill terrain gives always a problem during this monsoon.
Okay.
Landslide or the water
What
on the
about-
road.
what about
without
corruption?
proper drainage.
What about-
So
what about-
whatever road bed is washed away within
What
1
about,
year.
what about corruption? What about poor quality of work?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. See, one factor, another factor is that uniform guideline formulated by the central government for a road like to be constructed under PMGSY. The plain sector and the hill sector are given equal sanction amount per kilometer, which is not feasible in our state. So this is the part of this difficulties faced by the state. And as you have rightly pointed out, that so many filtration at every stage while making payment, that is another factor.
Right.
So unresolved Naga political issue is also another factor.
Okay.
Because all the political groups, tax from the contractor and from the business sector. So these are the factors how we could not provide this sustainable road.
We will wait and watch, but the basic point is that the Naga people must have good roads to drive in and out of the state and within the state. Now, another question I'd like to ask you, Mr. Zeliang, are you an ally of the NDA? Is NPF an ally of the NDA? Because in Nagaland, you are in the opposition, and in Manipur, you are part of the BJP-led government. There is some confusion on this.
You see, in a nutshell, I can explain that ever since 2003 till 2018, general election, 2018 general election, the BJP party and NPF, we are alliance. And whether BJP is in the ruling or opposition, our alliance we did not abrogate, and we continue to coexist in the assembly. However, due to this seat sharing, the NDPP party headed by President Chief Minister jumped in and offered 20 seats to BJP, whereas BJP party and NPF party we were negotiating within 10 seats and 15 seats. So they have opted to have seat sharing with the NDPP. That's how, after the general election, and after forming the government, they have sabotaged NPF from this coalition as a coalition partner.
Okay.
Because we have never walked away from BJP, but they have sabotaged NPF from the coalition partner due to this.
But in Manipur, you are part of. But in Manipur,
election.
You are an NDA ally. That means you are still an NDA ally. Is it a correct assessment?
No, NPF as the central office in Kohima, the central office do not have alliance with either UPA or NDA so far. But Manipur, at the time of formation of the government, 4 NPF supported the BJP-led government headed by Biren Singh. And till today, they want the support of NPF. So they are continuing a coalition as local arrangement.
Okay. So, so you are saying that you are NPF for the sake of clarity, I'm running short of time. NDA. For the sake of clarity, NPF is not an NDA ally, isn't it?
Yes. We are not NDA alliance, nor alliance with UPA so far.
Now,
Manipur arrangement is local arrangement.
Now, the demand for a separate state in Eastern Nagaland led by the ENPO. Briefly, how do you look at this development and how should the government respond?
The demand of separate territory put forward by ENPO is not a new thing. It's more than 15 years back. They have been trying to explore and trying to convince the government of India to provide separate territory or separate state demand. So with the reason that they have been neglected for so many years on economic ground, educationally, and politically. So we call it the backward area. So they want to have a separate entity and to take care of themselves, and special consideration from government of India.
All right.
That is the demand.
That is the demand. That is the demand.
ENPO,
now,
we think that the demand put forward to government of India is between them, and the negotiation is only between them, and we are not part of that negotiation.
Okay.
So
okay.
we don't
My
have
final
much
question. I'm running totally running short of time, Mr. Zeliang.
The basic demand is that
right, absolutely.
For
now,
Mr.
Zeliang, I'm running short of time. I've got a sense of what you think. You said that this demand is between the negotiation is between the two parties, the ENPO and the government of India. You are not a party to it. We'll wait and watch. But my last question to you, Mr. Zeliang, you talked about transparency. What is your message to present Chief Minister Mr. Nefurio? Generally doesn't talk to the media. So don't you think that he has to explain to the people of Nagaland as to what his government is doing, and one of the ways of doing so is to be allowed to be interviewed, allowed to be spoken to by the media?
Yeah, you can go and meet him, interview him, because in democratic setup.
No, I'm not talking
everyone
about
is free to
myself.
question
I'm not
anything.
talking about. I'm not
And
talking
any
about
government-
myself. I'm not talking about myself. I'm asking a general. Generally, he doesn't speak to the media. But my question is, in today's day and age.
Yeah. You see, I have I have questioned many pertinent issue in the assembly during budget session and during the last concluded assembly session. But they failed to reply the pertinent question put forward to them. So I used to question the transparency and accountability of this present government. They have less concern on the issue. Otherwise, when formation of this government has taken place,
Yeah.
beginning during this March 8, 2018, they have proclaimed that there will be a transparency and accountability. But in reality, we don't see any that implementation of the concept on the ground.
Okay.
That is
As
why
I
only
hope,
put
I
question.
hope, I
So
hope the
everybody,
government. I hope the
media
government.
people also can put question to him.
Yes, I hope the government of the day will listen to what you as the main opposition leader in the state is saying. These are very interesting times in Nagaland. Mr. TR Zeliang, thank you very much indeed for speaking to me on this special edition of Talk Time.
Thank you
Wish you
so
all
much.
the best.
Thank you so much.